Hello, hello, and welcome to another Momentum Monday, or possibly it's Turbo Tuesday, depending on when you're watching this. But today I'm going to share what I learned in Miami this week. A little different podcast today, just a lot of interesting things. If you want to hear some interesting things, you want to stay tuned because that's what I'm going to talk about today. Interesting things. All right, stay tuned. Yay, 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 and welcome today. I have with me a live a live pet to welcome you. Joey, do you want to say hi to everybody? He was standing here tall and nice, Joey the cat, just really presenting himself for the camera. And then he decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just do my own thing. So he turned away, but he had a nice welcome prepared. So maybe you need to check out my Instagram to see the pose that he had prior to just now deciding that he'd had enough. So, welcome to today's Supercharged with Emily, the podcast all about your entrepreneurial journey, helping you along, cultivating, nurturing your entrepreneurial journey. And today I thought I would do kind of like a little recap type talk on some of the things I've learned the past week. I spent the week in a few days in Miami attending the Caribbean Business Conference, which was very enlightening, very intriguing, and a few highlights I wanted to share with you today, as well as some upcoming events and a little bit more about the Supercharged CEO and why you might want to consider checking it out. So that's kind of our overview today. So without further ado, here is the topic, okay? What I learned in Miami this week, general wisdom for the masses. Unless I come up with another topic, that's the title, okay? It's a little long-winded, a little convoluted, but whatever. It's still nonetheless valuable. And so first of all, I went to today I'm just going to kind of share from my notes. So this is from my SBDC journal. And this conference, just to kind of give you a little bit of backdrop of what it's about and who it's for and who generally attends it. So it's my second year attending this conference, and it's put on by the U.S. Commercial Service. So for anyone interested in exporting or learning how to export more, you want to be aware of this service here in the United States. And a lot of countries, most or many countries, have their equivalent government entity or government agency which focuses on encouraging exports and international trade from their country. So here in the US, it's called the United States Commercial Service. It is a part of the Department of Commerce. It's under the Department of Commerce. And through my affiliation with the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center, which is another national organization that assists small businesses, we work closely with the U.S. Commercial Service. So who are they? So most of you may have heard of the State Department, and you've heard of political diplomacy and diplomats and ambassadors and all of that. And that's more on the political side of things. But on the flip side, on the commercial side, we have the Department of Commerce that also has representatives in embassies around the country, around the world. And so the U.S. Commercial Service interacts with that. And their goal is to help promote the exports of U.S. companies. Anyway, so that organization put on this conference with some of their partner organizations, and it was an opportunity to meet representatives from each of these countries, specifically the Caribbean, and how to do business with Caribbean countries, Caribbean nations. So that was the context of this conference. Yes. So we had some interesting guests. One of them was Major General Scott Jackson of the Southern Command. And that the Southern Command is a army outpost, if I will. I hope I'm describing it correctly, of the southern United States, kind of looking out for the interests of the southern United States. Like, what are the threats coming from the Caribbean and the Latin America? What threats are there on our borders? And there was some language that the Major General Jackson used that was very interesting, and that's what I want to highlight some of that to you. He talked about that economic security is national security, and I would beg to agree. He mentioned about the value of consistent engagement and the area of responsibility, the AOR. The area of responsibility that he is overseeing is obviously the southern United States, and the value of consistent engagement, he used that term to refer to engaging with your our neighbors to the south, like in the Caribbean countries and with the Latin American countries and so on, and the importance of doing that. And that made me think of social media and engaging with your clients and engaging with your customers, that it is a consistent engagement that we have to have, because that develops trusts and a partnership and so forth. So that was interesting. And there's all kinds of interesting opportunities in the Caribbean. And there's so much I can share. Obviously, there's tons, and I don't want to go on all day with this, even though I certainly could, because there's endless insights to share. But one of the key takeaways that I'd like to emphasize for you today is that one of the mistakes a lot of people do make when they try to do business in the Caribbean or what have you, is that they assume falsely that if a country is English speaking, or if you speak the same language, you automatically have everything else in common, or you don't have to worry about anything else. As long as you can communicate in English, you're okay. And that is the biggest myth, biggest fallacy that you could ever have. And that was reinforced by pretty much unanimously all of the diplomats who shared that. Don't make that mistake to think that because you speak the same language, you have the same culture, because we do not. There are different ways of doing things. And also within the Caribbean itself, the islands, they do things differently from island to island. So each island, each country has its own culture and its own way of doing things, even though there are similarities, obviously, for the region, but great distinctions among each country. And that's a really critical thing to highlight, that a lot of people do take for granted, and appreciating the culture and the history of where you're going and where you're doing business. Okay, let's see what else pops up from my amazing list of things learned. Okay, so consistent engagement, remember that. And also, we talked about taxation and how you can kind of lower your taxes as a small business owner if you are set up in a certain way when you do exports. We talked about IC-DISC, which is all about, what does it stand for? Interest charge. What does the DISC stand for? Oh, I should have looked that up. I'll look it up for next time, or maybe you can look it up in the meantime. But it has to do with the interest charging off for your business when you do certain exports for the manufacturing and so forth. Okay, that might be a little boring for you right now. But anyway, let me pick out another key point for you that I think might be interesting. And let me know in the comments if you concur, if you find this interesting, if you find doing trade with the Caribbean and other such countries interesting. Well, right now, Guyana, let me highlight this for you. As far as renewable energy, Guyana just was discovered off the coast of Guyana, some of the largest oil reserves apparently in the world right now, and it's revolutionizing the country of Guyana. It's changing their whole economy and really making things quite exciting down there. But it's kind of like the wild west, a little bit of opportunity. And so, but we were also admonished to be mindful of what does that mean. With growth comes other challenges as well, and so you have to be prepared for the opportunities ahead of you. And last week when I was sharing about transitioning from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, we talked about being able to take responsibility for your opportunities and taking responsibility for what you have to do. So when you go into a new market, whether it's a overseas market or a new business market that you're going into, it comes with responsibility and of course risk and understanding the environment you're getting into. So even though opportunity is there, you still want to take the necessary precautions to mitigate risks and so forth and so on. So just putting that as a thought. And finally, I hesitate to even say finally because there's just so much. And I hope some of this will resonate with you. One thing I want to share a quote from Walt Disney that I wrote down that someone shared in a talk. It says, "Decision making is easy when our values are clear." Let me repeat. Decision making is easy when our values are clear. So when you're doing business, understanding what you're focusing on allows you to make better decisions. And that's one of the things we talk about in the Supercharged Club, having your values in alignment with what's important to you, what you do, what you focus on, all aligns with what's important to you as a person, allows you to make better decisions. So that's just a nice reminder for that. Yeah, it sure is. We talked about also gold mines in Suriname. And by the way, people, if you're not familiar with some of the countries I'm mentioning, I invite you to check out your map. Go and check out the map of South America. You will see that Suriname is a country to the north of in the northern part of South America. And tell me in the chat what language do they speak in Suriname? I'm not even going to tell you. You tell me below in the comments what language is spoken in Suriname. You'll get brownie points for that. You'll get brownie points for that. Okay. And another thing too is the idea of customizing for the markets that you're entering. And the example was given of KFC, good old Kentucky Fried Chicken, that they've been in the Caribbean for over 50 years, in Jamaica, in Trinidad, and that the KFC you'll find in Jamaica is different flavor than the KFC you'll find in Trinidad because it's customized for the local market taste. And so they have attributed their great part of their success, KFC, to the fact that they really adapt to the local environment while maintaining what they're known for, but at the same time taking into careful consideration the local tastes. And so that's really important when you expand internationally or expand into a new market, to realize if the product translates as it is, or do you have to modify it significantly for it to actually work in the market that you're going to. Okay, I think that's some great tips for you. I hope you remember them all because I don't have a summary slide for you today. But some key advice, so I'll just summarize with this. Build relationships, do your due diligence and research when entering a market, and done in person. Oh yeah, deals are done in person with handshakes and a smile. And with that being said, understand that you cannot be overgeneralize any particular country. Let's say, for example, the Bahamas. The Bahamas has over, I think, 700 islands. And between the islands, and of the 700, 26 are the predominant islands that are inhabited or what have you. And among those 26, they're different. So the tastes are different, the interests are different, and so forth. So again, even though there are similarities, there are major differences, and understanding the nuances of those differences allow you to be successful. So that is what I'm going to leave you with on that note of my highlight visit to the Caribbean Business Conference in Miami this past week, which was really a great opportunity to connect with a lot of wonderful people. So let me share with you a quick overview of what's coming up, some highlights of some events that I'm going to be participating in. On September 28th, I'll be presenting at the Business Development Board of Martin County, the BDB of Martin County. We'll be having the Export University. Woo! So this is a great opportunity if you are in on the Treasure Coast of Florida. If you're in Martin County, St. Lucie County, Indian River, or Okeechobee counties, please do come. Or if you're in Palm Beach County as well, or any county, you want to come, come. And if you're out of state, fly in, register, and come to the BDB's Export University. It will be an amazing opportunity. My topic will be, you want to know what my topic will be? Hold on. Yeah, you have to wait for it. My topic will be the good, the bad, and the necessary of international trade, what you absolutely need to know. So that's what I'm going to be talking about on September 28th. On September 29th, the very following day, I'll also be presenting at the Lincoln Park Expo in Fort Pierce, Florida. And it's a community business expo, and this is like the 4th year they're having it. It's being put on by the city of Fort Pierce, and I'll be sharing about some time, yes, time what? Yes, tips for the time-strapped entrepreneurs. I don't have my title in front of me, so I'm like, okay, I'm ad-libbing. But yeah, it's going to be, oh Lord, I had it very catchy before. Oh, you're doing a great job, Emily. Anyway, it's great tips, time saving. Got it now. Time saving tips for the time-strapped entrepreneur. Something to that effect. Tools, techniques, and tips, etc., etc. Anyway, great insights for you when you're launching a business, how to best use your time, which is what a lot of people struggle with, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on at that conference. And I think I'm missing some other presentation. Oh, I'm playing my violin for the Women's Club. Yes, celebrating 113 years. That's happening in September as well. I think it's the 23rd in the afternoon. And yeah, I think I've shared enough for today. Okay, so that's what's coming up. But before I go, tomorrow, Tuesday, which is actually today, later today, is the Supercharged CEO. So many of you hear me talk about the Supercharged Club, and the Supercharged Club is a wonderful online community to help you have a supportive network to grow your business, and also to learn a roadmap for the entrepreneurial journey, to know what to expect, because most entrepreneurs, pretty much all entrepreneurs, start off kind of maybe not knowing what to expect until they actually encounter it. And the Supercharged CEO is more precisely to your business. So not only do we have all the benefits of the Supercharged Club, but you also get to get special customized attention on your specific business questions. And also, along with the Supercharged CEO will come special customized training that you might be privy to only for you. So exactly. It will be additional training that's only available in that club as well, that can help your business. So I encourage you to check it out. So if you want to know more about it, just visit thesuperchargedclub.com/join CEO. And that's all you got to do. Sign up and join us. And it would be great to have you, or share it with a friend. Let someone know who could benefit. So let me know what resonated with you today. I know that this was an impromptu kind of talk today, a little different than usual. And don't forget, did you get my dad's book yet? I encourage you people, you don't seem to understand. This book is a page turner. You will turn the pages like this and read the history. But I'll tell you, one of the things that really stands out for me with my dad's story as it relates to entrepreneurship is that he, at the age of 23 years old, he had an adventurous spirit to go into a foreign land from his island home of Jamaica, go from a foreign land to travel in a boat with thousands of men, many of them he didn't know, and they had to be escorted by the U.S. Army or Navy, the U.S. Navy submarine patrol, to prevent the German U-boats from blowing up these ships. And so they had to be escorted up the coast of the U.S. to come here to help to save the U.S. crops. And so the story is about that, but it's the journey of a young man on an adventure, his values that he brought from his home, and then what he brings here. So it kind of ties in interestingly. As I listened to the Caribbean Business Conference this week, I kind of think of how this is an ongoing cycle of trade and commerce and so on. And my grandfather, he was a sea captain. And so his job was he was a pilot. He would bring in ships that would come from France or come from different parts of the world into the harbors of Jamaica. So it's a very exciting thing. It's kind of like a full circle moment. So thank you for indulging me as I share this with you, but I encourage you to check it out on Amazon. All right, I've gone way, way, way over my limit today, but I think that it was all very valuable. Okay. So I hope this is beneficial to you. Let me know what resonates again, and make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things that you guys do, and stay supercharged. Till next time, see you guys, and bye. Okay.